Randy Tramp here. I wanted to talk about some of the stories I'm writing. I'm an author. I write articles for newspapers, and I also I'm in the middle of, well, toward the end of writing a novel, Night to Night. It's about a guy without the knowledge of his wife who rescues abducted children. Mark Steele, an ex-Special Forces commander, must change when his daughter becomes rebellious and his wife suspects something's going on. And can he? That's the question. I'm almost finished. I'll be publishing it this year. I'm excited about it. I've lived with these characters for quite some time. I'm working with a mentor, editor, and just enjoyed the process. Other stories I'm working on, thank you. Other stories I'm working on, good morning, Jen, is I interviewed this lady, Chinese lady. She's, I'm thinking she's in her 80s, and she's Chinese, and she grew up in China, and was in China when the Japanese declared war on China, and they had to hide because her mother was American, and at that time the Japanese, when they found any foreigners other than Chinese, they killed them, and so they had to hide, they had to run, they went to Hong Kong, Macau, interior China, and they just had to keep on moving. They were in Macau, interesting story there. They were in Macau, and the Chinese put an embargo against that territory, and people were starving. People were on the streets that didn't have a place to live, didn't have a place. And she tells one story. There's a lady that, good morning, tells a story of a woman who carried water because they had to get it from a public cistern. The woman carried water, and she had a baby. And when she didn't have no food, there was no food. There was no baby food. All they had was field corn, and that was very difficult to eat itself, and let alone try to get it ready for a baby. And so the mother resorted. The only thing that to get the baby to stop crying. Good morning, Morgan. The only way to get the baby to stop crying was to mix dirt and water, and fed the baby, and the baby died. And so Eileen told me stories like this, how Japanese soldiers were on top of the roofs of the school just watching and watching. They weren't cruel to the Chinese. They just occupied it. And so that was a different thing. They just was there. And so that story was very interesting. And then I'm in the process of writing that article that I'm going to put in the newspaper. And another one, I interviewed this guy, and I spent several hours. What this Chinese lady was telling me, that they weren't brutal to the kids. They didn't hurt the kids, is what she was saying. And also, I interviewed this Filipino guy. He was a teenager when the Japanese attacked the Philippines. And again, the Japanese weren't brutal to the kids, but the kids saw a lot of brutality. And And so I got that whole story, and that was very interesting. The person that I talked to, he had a lot of knowledge of, because he lived probably about 20 miles from where the Japanese landed. It was 10 hours after Pearl Harbor was attacked, and he and his family had to go hide in the mountains, not mountains, but he had to hide in the hills where they lived, and they did. They lived there for quite a long time until malaria struck. It was awful. The way in fact, as he was telling me, he teared up many times throughout the interview and had to stop. But his family contracted malaria, and so they were forced to go and to seek medicine and doctor help, and so no, no jail. This is my this is my shirt. I'm not a fan of orange. My kids are, and they got it for Christmas. So thank you. But I'll get back to the story. But you talk about asking me if I released from jail. I did work at a federal prison for 12 years. But getting back to the story, they had to seek medical attention, and during that time, the father died from malaria, and so the mother had to raise the kids. Thank you so much. The mother had to raise the children, and that was a pretty hard thing. They couldn't have any weapons, of course, and they couldn't have any radio, so they had no idea. Thank you so much for the love. They had no idea what was going on. They didn't know that America was even in the fight. He didn't find out till much later that Douglas MacArthur had left, and so appreciate it, and had left, and then had made the famous statement, I shall return. And of course he did return. He did return years later and liberated Philippines. And it was just a great time for the Philippines. But there were so many stories. This Filipino told me about how the Bataan Death March, his uncle was there and survived because he had kept a little vial of iodine in his in his shoes, and take a little drink every time, and so he survived. Thank you. But the torture, he said that they were carrying so many dead bodies, and that was the same way with Eileen, the Chinese lady that was in China, that they would carry boatloads and boatloads of dead bodies, and so both these people that I interviewed, both had seen, just tremendous amount of suffering, and so I plan. I've written the articles. I have to polish them now. I'll polish them and get them published. I'll hook them to my website. You can, in fact, Eileen, the Chinese lady, didn't want to tell her story at first, and I had, it needs to be told. We need to hear. We need to know, what went on, so that it's not repeated. This generation. And the World War II generation is slowly slipping out of this world, and so we need to hear. They do. They they are happening, and you know, I had to just no, I'm not Mormon, but what the Pope did this last week was incredible, taking some refugees into Rome. That was a really fun story to read and to listen to on the news, and so happy for those. Yeah, this is a really incredible Pope, and so what he did was really amazing, and like it. So, and some of my other writings, I write flash fiction, which is 1,000 words or less, and I have that hello son and story. Flash fiction under 1,000 words. I love writing flash fiction. I really enjoy it. I have one that I give. It's on my website. If you subscribe, I'll send it to you. RandyTramp.com. RandyTramp.com. Go there. I'll send you the story. I have a lot of people that, I have a lot of people that have enjoyed the story. Tell me that it's pretty good. And love writing that. One of my favorite authors is Ernest Hemingway. Love his short stories, and I'll never get to that level, but that's what I go for. That's the style I just love. That and Nicholas Sparks. I just gobble up anything of Nicholas Sparks. He's my hero. Dan Walsh is another one that is just incredible authors. Thank you for the greenness. Love those authors, Karen Kingsbury. Those that I'm in my 50s, and so just love those authors. I just read as much as I can from them. I just finished Nicholas Sparks' book, and The Notebook, and so just really good book. It really strikes. I love to write with emotions. I grew up. My dad died when I was young. And I didn't know it at that time, but I think I spent about a decade in grieving. And, oh, thank you. It's been about as I look back, I now understand the symptoms of grieving. I just went inward. I became a hard worker. And I worked hard not because it was the right thing to do. You like to write stories? Okay. And, well, my greatest advice, because who really knows how to write? I mean, really, my greatest advice is start writing. Just do it. Just start writing. Every day, write. And then find a writing group. And then you have to have thick skin. You really do. People that really care about you and really care about your writing will tell you that what you're doing wrong and how to get better. A lot of times, my family will always tell me I'm doing great. It is a little bit before 8 o'clock a.m. in the morning, so that's what time it is now. But my advice is write and read continually. Study, and nobody's good at the first time. Yeah, family's family, and they'll tell me that my writing is great, and so I look for people that will tell me the hard things. And I have them. I have them in my life. I found them, and I cherish those people. And they don't always tell me what I want to hear. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. They don't. They don't. And that's just the way of anything in life, is to find those people that will give you that criticism, that constructive criticism is what I'm trying to say. That'll tell you hard things, and don't run them off. Boy, did I used to do that. I'd used to run off those people, but those are the best people that anybody can have. And I often think of it as rhino skin. Rhino have the thickest skin on this earth. Rhino skin that bleeds. Have thick skin. Let people talk into your life. It's good stuff. You'll be better, and you'll live a happier, and you'll be a better, whatever profession you're writing specific, for sure. And so, yes, I do. I write flash fiction. I was thinking about to write about a gay guy who lived in old time and fall in love with someone. He's not gay. There's a lot of story ideas that that's why I watch TV. That's why I'm constantly thinking, what's the next storyline? And so that's how my brain works. I have a notepad next to my chair, and I write down all kinds of stories. I write my flash fiction. Sometimes I watch The Twilight Zone, and I watch or Alfred Hitchcock, and because those are incredible. They made movies at a time when it wasn't popular to have violence or anything, so they did a lot of power suggestion, and that's how I write. And so, you want a free story, or if you have a question, or if you want me to look at your writing or whatever, go to randytramp.com. I review. I'm constantly reviewing books. People get a hold of me and say, "Hey, will you review this?" I have a friend that he sends me some. Yes, randytramp.com. You can find me on any of the Twitter, Facebook. I go by Randy Tramp, TRAMP, RANDY, randytramp.com. And I have friends people that send me their writing, and I send them mine, and together we work in getting better. And so, yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. I'll send me your email address. I'll send you back my flash fiction story, Josephine. And because I like sending. I don't send a whole lot of email out. No more than 2 a month. Most of the time it's 1 in the story. But yes, I've had young people, middle-aged, older, that have sent me work, and I gave them my opinion, and that's what it's all about. Finding the people in our lives that will be honest with us and tell us straight, because that's how we can get better. Read so much. Yes, I read a little bit of email, not too much. I have my favorites. That Cam Wildman is a fantastic helping authors. Fantastic at teaching writing skills. Quite a few good websites out there. And so, well, I have to go get my kids up. I'm going to come back on the Periscope as soon as I get them up, get them moving. And we do comics and kids. So, hey, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. Love to read some of your work. But I'll be right back on Kids and Comics. Never know what my kids are going to say. And so you have a great day. Stay tuned.